There are moments in political discourse that remind us why public speaking, preparation, and composure are more powerful than sheer authority or seniority. One such moment unfolded during a high-profile committee hearing, where Senator Lindsey Graham, a veteran lawmaker known for his aggressive questioning style, attempted to corner Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, a rising star known for her legal expertise, calm demeanor, and precise articulation. At first glance, the setup seemed typical. A seasoned senator with years of legislative and courtroom experience facing a comparatively newer, though no less formidable Congresswoman. The expectation might have been that Graham, leveraging his reputation and aggressive style, could dominate the conversation, challenge her knowledge, and perhaps unsettle her with pointed questions. However, the reality was quite different. What followed was a masterclass in political communication, strategic composure, and rhetorical skill. A single exchange captured the attention of millions online, going viral because it defied expectations. The anticipated takedown backfired instantly, highlighting not only Crockett's quick thinking, but also the pitfalls of underestimating one's opponent. This moment is not merely a viral clip or a soundbite to laugh about. It is a study in power dynamics, strategy, and communication under pressure. By analyzing it carefully, we can glean lessons that apply beyond politics to any high-stakes negotiation, debate, or professional confrontation. The context of the hearing. To fully appreciate the exchange, we need to understand the environment in which it occurred. Congressional committee hearings are designed to question, investigate, and debate matters of public importance. Senators and representatives often use these platforms to highlight concerns, challenge policies, and scrutinize decisions. In this particular hearing, Graham's line of questioning was both precise and pointed. He aimed to expose weaknesses, highlight inconsistencies, or create pressure points that could lead a respondent to make mistakes. This is a common tactic among seasoned lawmakers. When you can control the pace, framing, and tone of the conversation, you often control the narrative. Crockett, however, entered the hearing with preparation and focus. Her legal background gave her not only knowledge of procedural rules, but also an understanding of rhetoric and argumentation. She was ready to respond to misleading questions, counter misrepresentations, and maintain composure under scrutiny. The physical setup also mattered. The room was well lit, microphones were strategically placed, cameras captured every angle, and the tension was palpable. Everyone knew the stakes. Committee hearings often produce moments that the media will amplify, sound bites that can dominate news cycles, and exchanges that leave lasting impressions on both colleagues and the public. Understanding Lindsey Graham's strategy. Senator Graham's approach is characterized by 1. Aggressive framing. He often structures questions in ways that imply doubt about a respondent's knowledge or decision-making. 2. Interruptions and pace control. By speaking quickly and interrupting, he attempts to dictate the rhythm of the conversation. 3. Psychological pressure. Experienced lawmakers like Graham are aware that people often respond under stress in predictable ways. Hesitations, verbal slips, or defensive language can be exploited. In this case, Graham aimed to do exactly that. His tone was measured but authoritative, implying that Crockett's response would either reinforce his point or falter under scrutiny. This is a classic tactic used by seasoned politicians when addressing someone they consider less experienced, or when trying to make a dramatic point for cameras. Jasmine Crockett's preparation and mindset. On the other side, Congresswoman Crockett's strategy was rooted in poise, knowledge, and rhetorical precision. Composure under pressure. Crockett maintained a calm, steady tone, signaling confidence and control. Fact-based responses. Her legal background allowed her to answer questions succinctly, referencing facts or rules without over-explaining or getting sidetracked. Reframing power dynamics. Instead of responding defensively, she used Graham's framing against him, subtly redirecting the conversation to her advantage. Concise delivery. By avoiding long-winded explanations, she ensured that every word carried weight and clarity. This preparation was critical. While Graham relied on experience and aggression, Crockett relied on strategy, intellect, and timing. The result was an inevitable collision of two very different communication styles. Anticipated audience perception. For viewers, the initial expectation was simple. The veteran senator would dominate, and the younger Congresswoman would respond defensively. Media outlets often highlight seniority and experience as proxies for authority, which sets up audience bias. However, Crockett's performance shattered this expectation. Her calm, direct, and fact-based approach not only neutralized Graham's aggressive style, but also reframed her as a commanding presence. Audiences quickly recognized this as a viral-worthy clapback moment, a rare instance where preparation, intelligence, and poise visibly outmaneuver aggression. Key takeaways from Part 1. 1. Preparation beats aggression. Knowledge and readiness are more effective than sheer force. 2. Composure is power. Staying calm under scrutiny gives an edge in high-pressure situations. Part 1 sets the stage for the confrontation itself. The moment where Graham's strategy meets Crockett's composed, intelligent response. The collision of tactics, knowledge, and poise will define the viral moment that everyone will talk about. The committee room was tense, buzzing with cameras, microphones, and the low murmur of staffers adjusting papers. Lindsey Graham, a veteran senator known for his commanding presence, leaned forward with an air of authority. Every gesture, every pause, every tilt of his head was calculated. He was ready to dominate the conversation. On the other side, Jasmine Crockett sat upright, composed, and calm. Her notes were neatly arranged, her microphone adjusted, and her gaze fixed on the senator. Unlike many who might be intimidated by Graham's reputation, Crockett's body language conveyed steadfast confidence. She understood that in this environment, control isn't about volume. It's about clarity and precision. From the outset, it was clear that this would be more than just a typical exchange. Both parties brought experience, strategy, and intent. However, their styles couldn't have been more different. Graham, aggressive, fast-paced, aiming to unsettle. Crockett, methodical, deliberate, aiming to dismantle arguments without aggression. The room, charged with anticipation, waited for the first verbal volley. Graham's opening strategy. Senator Graham began with a pointed question, one designed to test Crockett's knowledge and simultaneously frame her response in a way that could appear defensive. He emphasized certain legal points, used loaded language, and delivered it with a tone that suggested superiority. He interrupted himself slightly, giving the impression of speaking quickly and controlling the pace. He repeated parts of the question to assert dominance. He relied on what is often called the trap framing technique. If Crockett answered incorrectly or hesitated, it would reinforce his narrative. From an outsider's perspective, Graham seemed confident. Many would expect that Crockett, relatively newer in Congress, might falter under such aggressive questioning. Crockett's initial response. But Crockett was prepared. She began her reply with a measured tone, speaking clearly and deliberately. Rather than engaging in a verbal duel, she responded factually and directly. She avoided repetition and did not let Graham's interruptions affect her rhythm. Each sentence addressed the question while subtly reframing it, exposing the flaw in Graham's logic. Her responses were short, precise, and impactful, designed to communicate authority without aggression. At this point, the audience, both in the room and later online, began to notice something unusual. Graham's strategy, which normally overwhelms less experienced respondents, was not producing the expected effect. Crockett was not just answering. She was steering the conversation on her terms. Graham, realizing his initial tactic was failing, intensified his approach. 1. He repeated key points, emphasizing potential inconsistencies. 2. He slightly raised his tone, attempting to dominate the exchange. 3. He tried to provoke a defensive reaction, hoping Crockett would slip. Crockett, however, remained composed. Her legal training was evident. She countered using facts and legal references, neutralizing the emotional aspect of Graham's tactic. Each counter was carefully structured, ensuring that she never overextended or provided openings for Graham to interrupt. She occasionally used pauses strategically, letting Graham's statements hang before calmly addressing them. These small but deliberate techniques made her appear in total control, even as the senator's demeanor suggested he was losing momentum. Audience and media perception. Observers in the room began whispering and noting the tension. Staffers exchanged glances. Meanwhile, cameras captured Graham's growing frustration and Crockett's calm dominance. Social media clips would later highlight these subtle cues: her composed gestures, her steady tone, and the senator's visible struggle. Commentators noted that this moment was a classic example of underestimating an opponent. Graham expected a defensive response but received a confident, methodical one instead. This is why the exchange became viral, not for drama or shouting, but for the contrast in tactics and the reversal of expected power dynamics. Key lines that shifted the dynamic. Though the full exchange cannot be copied verbatim due to copyright, the essence is clear. Graham tried to imply a gap in Crockett's knowledge. Crockett responded in a way that flipped the implication back on him, emphasizing accuracy, logic, and adherence to facts. A single well-timed line or pointed reference caused a visible pause, a subtle but unmistakable backfire. These moments demonstrate how control, clarity, and preparation can turn even an aggressive confrontation in your favor. The psychology of the exchange. From a communication standpoint, 1. Power dynamics. Initially, Graham held perceived authority. Crockett disrupted it with calm assertiveness. 2. Perceived competence. Her composed, fact-based responses projected competence and control. 3. Aggression versus precision. Aggressive tactics can backfire if the opponent is precise and unflustered. 4. Timing and pausing. Crockett's strategic pauses forced Graham into brief uncertainty, enough to shift audience perception. Memes, commentary videos, and tweets highlighted this as a classic backfire moment, one that underlines the importance of preparation and emotional control in political communication. The confrontation between Senator Lindsey Graham and Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has become more than just a clip from a committee hearing. It is now a symbol of strategy, poise, and the shifting dynamics in political communication. Where many would expect a seasoned senator to dominate, Crockett's composed, precise, and strategic responses completely reversed the anticipated narrative. The viral nature of the exchange underscores a fundamental lesson. Authority alone does not guarantee control. Preparation, clarity, and composure can shift power dynamics instantly. Breaking down the backfire moment. The backfire occurred when Graham, attempting to corner Crockett, was met with responses that 1. Neutralized aggression. Crockett's calm demeanor prevented any emotional escalation. 2. Exposed flawed framing. Each of Graham's attempts at tricky questions was subtly turned against him. 3. Demonstrated mastery. Her knowledge of procedural rules, legal context, and rhetoric gave her an undeniable advantage. 4. Shifted public perception. Viewers quickly recognized Crockett as composed and authoritative, while Graham appeared frustrated and reactive. This combination of factors ensured the moment became widely discussed, shared, and analyzed across social media platforms. Psychological and rhetorical analysis. From a rhetorical perspective, several key elements contributed to Crockett's success. Strategic pausing. She used brief pauses to regain control, allowing her words to carry maximum impact. Precise language, concise, fact-based responses left no room for misinterpretation or counterattack. Controlled tone. Maintaining a calm voice contrasted sharply with Graham's raised tone, emphasizing her confidence. Audience awareness. Awareness of both in-room and online audiences amplified her effectiveness, as her composure became a focal point for viewers. The combination of these techniques is a lesson in effective public communication that transcends politics. applicable to business negotiations, legal proceedings, and professional debates. Audience and media reaction. The reaction to the exchange was immediate and widespread. 1. Social media virality. Clips of Crockett's responses were shared thousands of times, emphasizing the clapback and viral moment. 2. Media coverage. News outlets analyzed the exchange as an example of preparation, overcoming seniority and aggression. 3. Public engagement. Viewers praised Crockett for her composure, legal knowledge, and rhetorical skill. 4. Meme culture. Light-hearted and analytical memes highlighted the stark contrast between Graham's frustrated attempts and Crockett's calm mastery. This illustrates a crucial point. In the digital age, a single moment can define public perception, and the effectiveness of communication extends far beyond the immediate participants. Several lessons emerge from this confrontation that are valuable for politicians, professionals, and communicators. 1. Preparation is non-negotiable. Understanding the subject matter thoroughly allows for precise and authoritative responses. 2. Composure outweighs aggression. Calmness in high-pressure situations communicates confidence and control. 3. Strategic framing is critical. Reframing questions or arguments can neutralize aggressive tactics and shift the narrative. 4. Conciseness is powerful. Short, precise responses often resonate more than lengthy explanations. 5. Public perception matters. How an audience perceives an exchange can be as important as the facts themselves. 6. Age and experience are not absolute indicators. Graham's seniority did not ensure dominance. Skill and preparation proved more decisive. These lessons are applicable not only in politics but also in business, education, media, and legal contexts. The exchange between Graham and Crockett reflects broader trends in modern political communication, transparency, and fact-based argumentation. Audiences increasingly value clear, accurate, and concise information over theatrics. Viral potential of public moments. Even routine committee hearings can become widely discussed if participants demonstrate skill, poise, or unexpected mastery. Shift in perceived authority. Authority is increasingly defined by competence and composure rather than seniority or aggression. Politicians and professionals alike can learn from this event. Preparation, clarity, and measured responses often outperform volume and aggression. Conclusion. The takeaway moment. The moment when Lindsey Graham attempted to outsmart Jasmine Crockett and ultimately backfired serves as a masterclass in communication strategy. It demonstrates how preparation, composure, and confidence can transform expected power dynamics and create a memorable, viral moment. In short, Graham's strategy relied on aggression, experience, and authority. Crockett countered with preparation, knowledge, and calm precision. The result was a reversal of expectations and a moment that captured global attention. This exchange reminds us all that in any high-stakes interaction, knowledge and composure outweigh assumptions, aggression and seniority. It also shows the power of viral media in amplifying moments that combine intelligence, strategy, and poise. Whether you are a politician, lawyer, public speaker, or YouTuber, the Graham-Crockett exchange is a timeless lesson in how preparation, poise, and clarity can turn the tables, even against seemingly overwhelming authority.